replacing a prominent member of a band is hard. Replacing somebody as charismatic with such a unique voice is even harder. And replacing that member after an untimely death is almost impossible. However, that's exactly what Linkin Park has set out to do. And it's unfortunate that Chester Bennington's untimely passing put them in this position. It left the band in a very dark place with not a lot of options. They were kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't. And they've chosen the former, that they've decided to move on and honor his legacy, but also to create new music and to move on with another vocalist. And that's where a vocalist, Emily Armstrong, enters. She's a safe choice. She very much can emulate Chester Bennington's screams, his cleans, and also bring her kind of own sensibility to things as well. It's a very safe choice for the band, and unfortunately, sometimes when you play it safe, you end up with something that's not exactly a high point or a low point, just somewhere in the middle. I want to get a few things out of the way first before I start getting into the album From Zero. And first of all, that's to address the actual act of replacing somebody like Chester Bennington. As far as a lot of people considered it being disrespectful or a disgrace to his legacy, and honestly, I don't see it that way. I feel like the band had very few choices. The band existed before Chester Bennington, which is something a lot of people don't realize, and it's only fair for it to exist after his passing. And realistically, I feel like most people who are going through something like he was would want to see their friends and their family kind of push forward and continue. And I can't speak for him. I only speak from personal experience, but I don't see it as something being disrespectful or harmful in any way. The other thing I want to get out of the way is she is a bit of a controversial choice due to her ties to Scientology. Not really going to address that too much further. As far as I know, she has denounced it, and she has come out and kind of addressed those issues. If that's enough for you, great. If it's not, move on. Don't listen to this. Listen to something else. That's fine. Whatever. I feel like she was the best choice out of an option. I feel like going with her is a way of, there's very few people who sounded like Chester Bennington. I mean, the nu metal genre was prolific in the late 90s and early 2000s, and you had a lot of samey sounding vocalists, but Chester Bennington was really not one of them. There were people who kind of came close, had a similar style, but nothing really quite emulated him. I feel like she kind of hits the nail on the head. She can show off her range. She does a really good job with songs like Heavy as the Crown, with the screaming and the singing and the fried vocals. And I feel like she was just a great choice to kind of move on and to not only, pay homage to Chester Bennington, but also to create something new at the same time. Unfortunately, with From Zero, that paying homage to the past is kind of its ultimate downfall. There's nothing inherently wrong with this album. It does a great job at blending rock and hip hop and pop and everything else into, the formula that Linkin Park had set forward. It's just that the band was suddenly placed with a impossible task. I mean, do they create something completely brand new? I mean, nobody's expecting Linkin Park to come into a metalcore or deathcore band, but just something a little bit different. They were kind of experimenting a little bit with their last album. It fell flat for me, unfortunately, but it at least was showing some kind of differentiation or progress. They'd also kind of done a few things in the past where they kind of pushed more into electronica, things like that, and changed up the style a little bit. It wasn't what fans were exactly were expecting. And I feel like because those moments kind of fell short a little bit, which is why they chose to play it safe here. But you're getting straightforward Linkin Park. You're getting chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. It's the same pattern that they've had for pretty much every single album that they've ever released. I feel like this was kind of the chance for the band to put a new spin on things, and they chose not to. I can respect that. Just unfortunately, the end result is something that is okay. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not bad. Most of these songs really sound like Linkin Park B-sides. They sound like albums that were left on the cutting room floor that they chose to pick up and, give another chance. Not to say that that's the entire album. There are songs on there like Casualty or Overflow, for instance, that kind of provide a breath of fresh air, showing off the more heavier side of the band and the eccentricities. While songs like Two-Faced or the previous mentioned Heavy as the Crown are kind of like welcomed old friends. They have that perfect Linkin Park pattern sound. They feel like they would have been right at home on Hybrid Theory or Meteora. And, complete with the angsty rapping from Mike Shinoda, the chunky bass, and those slicing guitars with the DJ record scratches all going on. It's kind of got everything that you expect from the band, whether past their releases or up to their most recent releases previous. While I can respect that Linkin Park kind of faced a very difficult task with releasing a new album with a new vocalist after having such a legacy imprinted by Chester Bennington, the album itself, by playing it safe, just again doesn't really reach any kind of new heights. It's fine. It doesn't quite live up to Meteor or Hybrid Theory or Minutes to Midnight. It's fine. It's a fine album. It does what it needs to do. It gets in, it gets out. These songs aren't necessarily going to be your favorites. There's plenty of high marks on the album. There's plenty of songs that are really good, but overall it doesn't really push forward. And it's something that the band really had a chance to do something new or do something different or kind of push forward in some sort of way. But I get it. They didn't want to lose any ground in that push forward, which is fine. It's just that there's nothing here that's going to win over new fans, and there's really nothing here that's going to bring back kind of jaded older fans as well. I would say that they've kind of set a solid groundwork for something new, and hopefully with their next release, we'll get something that kind of reaches for the stars a bit.